Have you ever heard of angels? I'm not talking about those cute little cherubs on Christmas cards, but rather powerful celestial warriors and messengers of God who influence the destiny of humanity. Today, we'll explore an incredible mystery, an angel so powerful that the Bible hardly mentions him. If you think you already know everything about angels, get ready to change your mind. What we reveal might transform your view of the spiritual world forever. So, stay with us here on Caminos de Compreensão, because what comes next is truly surprising. Lucifer, the beautiful and proud fallen angel. Before his fall, Lucifer was simply magnificent. The Bible describes him as a perfect being, full of wisdom and beauty. The prophet Ezekiel says he was adorned with precious stones and shone with the glory of God. Additionally, he was an anointed cherub, a special being with an important role in heaven. But despite all his perfection, something happened. Pride took hold of Lucifer's heart. He began to think of himself as too powerful, so powerful that he wanted to be like God. And that was when everything changed. When his plan to take the divine throne was discovered, he refused to back down. Instead, he hardened his heart and tried to start a war in heaven. But he didn't count on the strength of another very special angel, Michael, the warrior archangel. If there's one angel you definitely want by your side in a battle, it's Michael. He is called the Prince of Heaven and is known for fighting against the forces of evil. Every time his name appears in the Bible, there is a great battle taking place. And it was exactly him who confronted Lucifer. In the book of Revelation, 12:7-9, the Bible tells how Michael and his angels fought against Lucifer and the angels who followed him. In the end, Lucifer was defeated and cast out of heaven, along with all those who rebelled. Here's what is written. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, Lucifer, and his angels, but they were not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. Lucifer fell because he allowed pride to take over, and that was his ruin. Michael's role in the spiritual world. But Michael doesn't only appear in that battle. He plays a very important role at several points in the Bible. Protection of God's people. In the book of Daniel, 12:1, we see that Michael is called the great defender of God's people. He is not only a warrior, but also a protector, angel of the end times. In 1 Thessalonians 4:16, Paul speaks of an angel who will sound the trumpet at the return of Christ. Many believe this angel is Michael. Intervention in Daniel's prayer. In the book of Daniel, 10:12-13, there's an incredible account of how Michael had to step in to ensure that an answer to Daniel's prayer reached him. The prophet prayed for 21 days, but an evil being called the Prince of Persia tried to prevent the answer from arriving. However, Michael intervened and made sure the message was delivered. Michael is a powerful angel, responsible for spiritual battles and the protection of God's people. While Lucifer fell because of pride, Michael remained faithful and became one of the most important warriors in heaven. And this is just a part of the story of angels. Want to know more? Stay with us, because there is much more to discover about these celestial beings. Angels in the Bible. The Bible tells us that angels are messengers of God, sent to help those who follow his word. They are not spirits of people who have died, as some believe. In fact, angels were created before humanity even existed. Have you heard of Adam and Eve? When they disobeyed God and were expelled from the Garden of Eden, an angel was placed at the entrance to prevent them from returning. This is found in Genesis 3:24. Angels do not marry or form families like us. They were created to carry out God's commands, and those who remained faithful continue to follow his will. But not all angels stayed on the right side. The 4 angels named in the Bible. Although there are countless angels in heaven, the Bible only mentions the names of 4. Among them, there are both good angels and one who chose the wrong path. Let's get to know them. Lucifer, the fallen angel. Lucifer was one of the most powerful angels in heaven, but he let pride go to his head. He wanted to be more important than God and tried to take his place. The result, he was cast out of heaven and became what we now know as Satan or the devil. The Bible describes this fall in Isaiah 14:12-14, where it says, "How you have fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how you are cut down to the ground, you who weakened the nations." Lucifer did not accept being merely a servant of God and tried to become equal to him, but he ended up being defeated. More mysteries ahead. This is just the beginning. We still have 3 more angels mentioned in the Bible to explore and understand their roles in history. Want to know who they are and what they do? Keep following us and find out. Michael, the defender and celestial warrior. Michael is not just a warrior but also a defender of God's people. In Daniel 12 verse 1, he is described as the one who will rise up to protect and deliver God's people during the time of anguish. His faithfulness and power are essential during critical moments when the forces of evil try to prevail. Additionally, Michael plays a key role in the book of Revelation, where he is the leader of the celestial forces who battle against Lucifer's forces. In Revelation 12, Michael and his angels confront the dragon, Lucifer, and his followers, casting them out of heaven. This confrontation is a significant milestone in the ongoing spiritual war that continues until the end times. Michael's power in spiritual battles. Michael, the archangel, is one of the most powerful and important beings in the heavenly realm. His presence is always associated with the fight against evil and the protection of the faithful. He not only combats spiritual enemies but also acts as an intermediary, bringing answers to prayers and ensuring that God's plan is fulfilled, even when the forces of evil try to thwart progress. In 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 16, the Bible gives us a future glimpse of Michael sounding the trumpet at the return of Christ, reinforcing his importance in the eschatological events. This shows that Michael plays a prominent role not only in spiritual battles, but also in God's plan for the end times. Michael's story is a reminder that behind the struggles we see in the physical world, there is an ongoing spiritual battle. He is an example of faithfulness, courage, and strength in the face of evil. While Lucifer fell due to pride, Michael remained faithful and became one of the most important warriors in heaven, always ready to defend and fight for God's people. The Great Battle in Heaven. The confrontation between Michael and Lucifer's forces is not limited to the episode in Daniel, but is part of a larger spiritual conflict that happens in the heavens. The final battle between Michael and Lucifer is one of the most significant moments described in the Bible and takes place in the book of Revelation. In chapter 12, the Apostle John writes about a great war in heaven between Michael and the angels of God against the dragon, Lucifer, and his angels. After his rebellion, Lucifer tried to usurp God's throne, but Michael, with divine strength and his heavenly army, prevails against him. Lucifer's defeat in heaven symbolizes God's victory and the assurance that the forces of evil will not prevail over his divine plan. The impact of this battle reverberates in the present time, with the constant presence of temptations and spiritual challenges that Christians face in their faith walk. Michael's role in the end times. In several books of the Bible, Michael is presented as the archangel who will be present in the end times. As mentioned earlier, he will be the one to sound the trumpet to announce Christ's return in 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 16. The book of Revelation also speaks of Michael in decisive moments, such as the Great Tribulation, where he rises to ensure that divine justice is carried out. In Revelation 12 verses 7 to 9, when Michael and his angels win the war against Lucifer and his followers, heaven celebrates the victory, but earth faces the repercussions of that defeat. The following verse says, "Woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you, filled with fury, knowing that his time is short." Revelation 12 verse 12. This verse points to the intensification of spiritual battles on earth, as Satan, knowing of his defeat, seeks to deceive and destroy as many lives as possible. It is in this context that Michael continues to play his role as protector, fighting alongside God's people to maintain spiritual order and ensure that divine justice is carried out. Michael's role in protecting God's people. Michael is not only a warrior but also a protector. In Daniel 12 verse 1, we read that Michael will rise up to defend God's people in the last days. He will be the key to the salvation of many during times of great tribulation. His presence and intervention in critical moments ensure that, even amid adversity and persecution, God's people will be kept safe. Michael's role as protector is crucial. He acts as a spiritual guardian, keeping the attacks of evil forces at bay. This protection does not mean the absence of difficulties, but the assurance that God will be with his people, guiding them and giving them strength to endure trials. The ongoing fight against the forces of evil. Michael is also described in Ephesians 6 verse 12 as one who helps Christians in their daily spiritual struggle. The verse says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." These evil spiritual forces are not just part of a distant celestial battle but also operate in our world, influencing human actions, spreading evil, and distorting truth. Michael and God's angels continue to fight this battle alongside Christians who arm themselves with God's truth to resist temptation and evil. The final victory. Despite the great battle fought between Michael and the forces of evil, the Bible assures that the final victory belongs to God. In Revelation 20 verse 10, after the events of the Great Tribulation and Satan's defeat, the Bible describes how he and his followers will be thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where they will be tormented forever. This final defeat of Satan and his forces is the conclusion of the spiritual battle that began in heaven and extended to earth. Michael, as the leader of the heavenly hosts, plays a vital role in ensuring that evil is eradicated and that God's kingdom is fully established on earth. He is the guarantee that good will prevail and that God's light will overcome the darkness. Final reflection. The story of Michael, the archangel, is much more than a narrative of celestial battles. It is a reminder of God's power over the forces of evil and the faithfulness of the angels who remain loyal to him. Michael is an example of courage, faithfulness, and protection, always willing to fight on behalf of God and his people. While Lucifer allowed himself to be consumed by pride and fell, Michael remained faithful and became a symbol of strength and perseverance for all who seek to live according to God's will. And, although the spiritual battle may seem intense and evil is a reality in our lives, the final victory has already been secured by God. Michael, as a celestial warrior, reminds us that, with God by our side, the forces of evil will never prevail. This story is just one part of the great spiritual tapestry that shapes our world. If you wish to continue exploring the depths of this spiritual mystery and learn more about the ongoing struggle between good and evil, stay with us. There is much more to discover about the heavenly realm and the angels who play. The last angel mentioned in the Bible, Abaddon. Many Christians are familiar with the names of the archangels Michael and Gabriel, but few are aware of another angel mentioned in the Bible, who appears in the last book of the New Testament, Abaddon. This angel is referred to mysteriously in Revelation, and his role and identity still generate much confusion. Abaddon or Apollyon, the angel of the abyss. Abaddon is mentioned in Revelation 9 verse 11, where he is described as the king of the swarm of locusts that will appear in the last days. And they had as king over them the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek, Apollyon. Revelation 9 verse 11. It is important to note that Abaddon is not a place, but rather a celestial being, identified as the king of the locusts from the abyss, who will be released during the events of the end times. Abaddon, the angel of destruction. The name Abaddon means destruction or destroyer. He is described as the angel responsible for the bottomless abyss, where Satan and his followers will be cast in the future. This abyss will be the prison where Abaddon and other malevolent entities will dwell. In Ephesians 6 verse 12, the Bible describes the spiritual struggle against the forces of evil in the heavenly realms, and Abaddon is likely one of these forces. He is considered a prince or power under Satan's control, a high-ranking demon with authority over the abyss. The role of Abaddon in the last days. Abaddon is the king of the locusts, destructive beings that will come from the abyss during the apocalyptic events. His mission is to bring chaos and destruction during the Great Tribulation. His figure is shrouded in mystery, and many Bible commentators attempt to decipher his true role. Some suggest that Abaddon is merely a representation of Satan himself, but it is more likely that he is one of Satan's subordinate entities, exercising authority over a part of the kingdom of darkness. The angelic world and its mysteries. The angelic world is full of mysteries, and understanding the various celestial beings can provide a deeper insight into spirituality and the universe in which we live. Knowledge about angels is not only about the beings of light that protect us, but also about the forces that work against good. Reflection and spiritual growth community. We hope this episode has sparked your interest in the mysteries of the celestial world. Which angel caught your attention the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We aim to make paths of understanding a true community of discovery and spiritual growth. Don't forget to like and activate notifications to stay updated on upcoming episodes. We are on this learning journey together, crucial roles in God's divine plan of salvation and redemption.